second row draw, you're always going to take a little bit of time to settle first, let the field sort itself out, and then you wasted no time making your move.
Well, I thought there might have been a little bit more speed off the front row, and so I was a little bit concerned straight after the start when they absolutely walked out the gate, so I had no option but to get on the move as soon as I could, otherwise you just won't get in the race.
And did you get the lead a little bit easier than you thought you may?
Yeah, I sort of thought, it was a chance of finding it, but then if I went too hard, I thought Greg might have kicked up, so it was sort of tricky to, think you're just working there, and then at the last minute to be able to, turn on a little bit to get across them, so it worked out really well.
Winning on a Saturday night, you're making a little bit of a habit of it, Brad. It's a nice habit.
Yeah, I wish there was more of him. It was good to get the win on that little fella. He's one of my favourites. So and it's the boss's horse too, so which makes it even better.
Certainly does help. It's his 50th start tonight, 8 wins, and while his last couple had perhaps been a little bit below par, before that he'd been running some really good races. Yeah, go back 3 starts, and the third behind the likes of Cruising Around. Pretty solid form.
Yeah, he has got solid form when you think about it. It probably doesn't read too good, his recent form, but as you said, like the third to Cruising Around, going track record time, although he was beaten, 15 metres or whatever, he went 3 seconds quicker that night than what he's done here tonight. So his figure form doesn't read too good, but he's finally been able to find a race that's much suitable for him, and yeah, he's got the job done.
You were 1 out and 1 back, and suddenly you're well and truly at the front end.
Yeah, it was a funny old race. Jodie sort of was hard pressed on hers from the time she found the front and pulled the plugs early, and I was worried Greg was going to run on by then and leave me parked, but it turned out all right. And then down the back when Xavier got badly held up on the favourite, I thought, well, we'll keep making every post a winning post while we can.
So you skipped away and nothing looked like catching you. You had time to probably look over your shoulder, and there was nothing special about the times at the end. It's just you're in the right place, made the break, and nothing could run you down.
Yeah, that's right. We were lucky to be 1-1 and used a bit of dash down the back, although the times don't suggest that we did put a gap on them, and I wasn't going to look back because it was a long enough straight as it was.
Look, we talked about before the race, one of 3 progeny of Safari in the race, this 5-year-old. He's only won one race before tonight in 28 starts. You'd been driving him. What was the difference tonight?
Oh, just probably the class of horse, and for once not getting so far back in the run. He drew a little bit better tonight than what he has, and even last week his run was pretty good. His figure form doesn't look great, but on face value he has been going better than what it looks.
Tonight, no exception, just an exciting experience once again.
Oh, it really is. To be a small part of his journey is incredible, and he just does it in second gear. That's the scary part. It's like he's out on just a little jog trip.
I mean, there was a lot of talk leading into this race about possible track records, fastest quarters, fastest halves. But at the end of the day, it's all about, winning and making sure this bloke stays on track for bigger things to come.
Yeah, I think so. Obviously it's a thrill to break records and stuff, but I think there's not really a need at this point to really, really open him up, which is pretty scary that we've never done that. So, to keep him happy and keep him winning, that's the main aim now, I think.
We spoke pre-race about how relaxed he is. Nothing seemed to faze him. He's trialled on this track before, but he hasn't raced here, so just a little bit of a different experience for a horse that's still very lightly raced, and nothing seems to faze him.
No, it doesn't. I mean, he really, came out of the gate good, and then he just dropped a bit and relaxed after that. And he's just, I could pull him up to a walk about 100 metres after the line because he just knows when his job's done, and he is, he knows what he's doing.
Darby, this bloke just really charged home.
Yeah, no, he was super. He felt really good the whole run, and we were sort of lucky enough to just get a bit of a gap at the top of the straight and come off, and that proved detrimental.
Yeah, it's his first win since going back to December of last year. Your first drive on him for trainer Glenn Douglas. What were the instructions pre-race?
No instructions. Glenn doesn't really give instructions. All he told me was the horse can pull and that it can rear up, and that's about all I got told. So, yeah, I just thought Steampunk was a good one to sit behind and prove that way.
It looks like, well, it's probably hard for you to judge, but it was his fourth start back from a spell today. So he's obviously benefited from those runs, and any horse, as a trainer yourself, you know that you had a few runs under their belt and get that race fitness into them, and it can make all the difference.
Yeah, that's right. Obviously, he just felt super tonight, so obviously, yeah, he has benefited a lot from the last few runs, and he went really good last start too, hit the line well in fast time. So, I was pretty confident coming tonight.
Did we see the best of Wobbly tonight?
Yeah, he was really good. Things probably didn't pan out quite as how I hoped early. The speed wasn't on that much, and was a little bit worried. But when I pulled him out down the back, he strode up really well, and he has a tendency to just get a bit lost in front, but he sort of stuck to it pretty well.
The observation was made in the warm-up. You jumped on the back of Brad Angove for the preliminary, just to try and keep his mind on the job and give him something to focus on.
Yeah, well, he doesn't like warming up on his own. He just sometimes he'll jog a lap and then just stop in the middle of the track and do circles. So since we've been able to follow horses around, he's been really good.
Yeah, and obviously he's had a couple of runs, 3 runs back now, and from that break. And how's he coming to hand? I mean, he's obviously come back in winning form, but there must be still a lot of improvement in him.
I hope so. He's one of those horses. He looks sort of fat, but he doesn't sort of take a lot of work to get fit. So he doesn't do much in between races. I think he only probably did 2 fast works in between his last 2 runs, which were like 2 weeks apart. So when he can race week in, week out, he'll probably be a bit sharper.
This bloke hasn't done a bad job.
Yeah, no, it'd be a bit of a first, I think. 2 winners in a row that I drove by a horse that we used to train at home, and one a pacer, one a trotter. So, yeah, pretty freaky. I don't think there's a lot of paces, but yeah, that one goes quite nice.
He did all right. I mean, it's a long time since you drove him. You drove him well way back in 2018 in the Vic Bred Super Series.
Okay.
So just a side fact there, but new to him at the moment. He's been consistent for Dennis, and he certainly got the job done well tonight in good time.
Yeah, he did. Dennis said he hung a bit last start at Shepparton and couldn't get himself into the race, and then tonight he had a Murphy on. He steered pretty good, and speed was good early, which helped him, and he got a nice track into it. He just had to sprint up the straight, and he finished off really well.